This film is about what happens to children and young people who get into trouble with the law here in Wales. We will describe what happens, who gets involved, and what's likely to take place. But this video is not for children and young people who commit the most serious offences. We want a country where we all work together to prevent people from entering the youth justice system in the first place. So, in Wales, young people who commit certain offences are diverted from being criminalised and are offered support. We see young people as children first and offenders second. This approach is backed up in Wales because the Welsh Government has signed up to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of a Child, protecting the rights of those under 18. The Youth Justice Board is also committed to ensuring the youth justice system has a children first focus. An important element of this is making sure the right outcomes are delivered for young people.
You don't want to be criminalising young people who are coming through for the first time. And young people, as we know, make mistakes.
Childhood is a period where young people are developing. It's important that young people get a chance to correct those mistakes and that it doesn't affect their future.
All youth offending teams in Wales have bureaus, although in some areas they're called something different. We hope this film will explain how the process works. For some young people, getting into trouble is part of growing up. However, what happens to them when they do can have serious consequences for the rest of their lives. If they acquire a criminal record, it'll be held in the police national computer. This means that when criminal record checks are made, past history will come to light, which may impact on their ability to go to college, enter certain occupations, to get a mortgage, insurance cover, and to travel abroad. Even low-level offences can have a significant impact on the lives of young people, which can continue throughout adulthood. It's therefore important that children and young people who break the law are treated as children and young people first, and offenders second. And it's important to remember that some offences can be dealt with without going to court at all. The Bureau is not just about the young person, but it's also about victims.
Harm has been caused to the victim in any offence, and where there is a victim present, and the voice of the victim is very important.
Young people have to understand the harm that they're causing to the victims and to wider society.
It is important that the victim has their voice in terms of what their wishes are.
In terms of children's development, empathy is very important, and learning about the impact of their behaviour on their community and developing their sense of citizenship is very important to us.
The research shows that over 85% of victims are satisfied with the outcomes and with the process that they have been through.
The great thing about the process is that it identifies any needs that children or young people may have and can help to prevent the negative effects of crime as well as reduce offending. In this section, we will explain how the Bureau works in practice. It starts when a crime has been committed. This could be criminal damage, shoplifting, common assault, drug possession, or a public order offence, for example. The young person will usually be asked to attend the police station where they'll be interviewed by a police officer. An appropriate adult will be asked to be there too. They're a supporter for the young person, and a solicitor will also be present. If the young person has committed the offence they're being accused of, it's best to admit it at this stage. Taking responsibility at the earliest opportunity helps avoid any further police involvement and the likelihood of a court appearance. Once the police interview has taken place, it is decision time. The police will decide if the young person is eligible for the Bureau. If they are, it's time for the next stage of the process. They will be referred to the youth offending team and allocated a case manager.
That member of the team then goes out and visits the young person and their parents or carers at their home address in order to gain more background with regards to that particular offence. That officer will then provide us with a report.
The report will explain what has happened and describe the young person's life. This will include any information from the agencies involved with the young person. The report will not just be about the offence itself. It seeks to produce a rounded and balanced picture of their lifestyle and circumstances.
You know, this is essential within the report, that we consider them as young people and that we get some kind of idea of the lifestyle and the background to that particular young person. So a balanced report based on the offence itself and based on the young person.
And importantly, a victim worker from the yacht, that's youth offending team, will speak with any victims to ensure their voice is being heard. It is during this time that the impact on the victim is explored and restorative options are discussed, which might help to make amends for what has happened. This means, for example, if there has been criminal damage and a door has been broken, the young person can help to repair it, or a letter of apology and explanation can be written, all with the victim's agreement. It's all about repairing the harm. In deciding what should happen, the yacht will consider whether the young person has shown any remorse. If they are sorry, there may be an opportunity to personally apologise to the victim if they consent. It's at this time that lots of different options are explored. The report and the bureau process is not all about the negative things in a young person's life. It uses a strength-based approach. The young person may be doing well in school, may be part of a local sports team. They may have won awards or may be taking steps to move away from negative peer groups, for example. The great thing about the Bureau is that everyone gets a chance to have their say. This is done in a meeting or panel where everyone involved in making the decision gets together to talk about what's happened and find a way forward.
So the meeting is a restorative process about putting interventions in place in order to help that young person to move on. This process also helps the victim, and this can bring closure where both parties can resume their lives without the worry of a criminal conviction hanging over their head or with the victim being re-victimised in the future.
When the panel meets, it will initially be a yacht worker, a police officer, and a volunteer from the community. They meet together and look at any ideas they have based on the yacht report. The next stage is for the panel to meet with the young person and their parents, or, if they're not available, another adult who is there to support. And any victims will be invited to attend too.
The police officer generally plays the lead role, so he will introduce the young person and their parent to the people within the meeting. The police officer then will ask the young person about the offence which they have been involved with. This gives the young person the opportunity to explain how the offence came about and how it affected the young person.
So the role of the youth justice team is to ensure that young people's needs are met. We will be discussing with the young person and their parents about what are their needs and what are their strengths, and how we can work with that young person and their family to ensure that they don't get into trouble again.
The community member within the Bureau is extremely important. It does give the community a voice. It does enable the community to make decisions on how young people are treated within the community.
At the end of the meeting, all the information which has been discussed will be considered and a decision made. The police officer will tell the young person what this is and what will happen next. They will check that the young person understands what is expected of them and what others will do to help. This is called a disposal. It's the legal term used to describe what decisions have been reached. It's now time to move forward and put things into action.
This process is about supporting and helping young people, their parents and the victims. These young children have maybe come through for the first time, and it's important that we deal with them as children and to provide them with as many opportunities for them to avoid offending and to avoid the criminal justice system in the future.
Most victims we work with realise that young people who commit crimes need help and support, and the Bureau helps to try and make this happen.
I am very, very passionate about young people being given the best opportunities.
Our job satisfaction comes from seeing young people develop and seeing them achieve, and even the smallest of progresses is important for young people.
Everybody has the potential to succeed, and young people who commit crime are no different. They are the same young people as the young people who live next door to you. It is a joy to work with the young people and their parents and to change their future.